Hi, welcome to another episode of the Investor's Guide to Hard Money Lending, brought to you by CoreLend Financial. My name is Alyssa Fowler, and today we have Robert Matlock with City Lights here with us. We're going to kind of discuss some things about investment properties and how to protect those with your regular maintenance. So, Robert Matlock, tell me a little bit about what you do here and what you do, how long you've been with investment properties with City Lights, and what your role is.
Okay, well, I am currently the operations manager for City Light Commercial Services, and we specialize in serving investment properties, property management companies on their maintenance needs. I've been here since 2016, about 10 years, going on 10 years now, and I've seen the company grow and grow and grow to where we are able to offer a good service at a competitive price for investors. So that's basically where we stand.
So you talk about doing this with maintenance with investment properties. What are some of the most common items that investors typically overlook on with the routine maintenance of their properties?
So it's funny you asked that. We're in of course, we're here in Memphis, Tennessee, and we're about to have a big ice storm supposedly. So It'd be a perfect time to talk about preventative maintenance, winterizations, maybe your filter changes. All of them basically are putting eyes on your property. So if you do that, I recommend at least 4 times a year, whether it's called a filter inspection, a preventative maintenance, or a winterization, you're still putting eyes on your property. And what that does for you, that lets you look at your filter in your air conditioners, your batteries, the condition of your water heater, the condition of your walls, the condition of your roof, just basically a overview of your home in a few pictures so that you can address any major issues that are going on before they get started.
I gotcha. And so, what percentage, I know you do a lot with the Crestcore property management, what percentage of clients would you say that partake in, say, like a package, like a monthly fee that tenants?
Oh, that's a good question. As far as with Crestcore Property Management Company, I would say upwards of 80% of their clients go with preventative maintenance, winterization, filter change.
So you talk about winterization. Where, what does that entail?
Okay, so a winterization is basically going in your home and stopping the water supply so that it doesn't freeze. And then when it unfreezes, it will bust the pipe. What happens is water, when it freezes, a lot of people know this expands, copper expands. And then when it unfreezes, the water becomes liquid again, but the pipe can't withhold that pressure, so then it busts. And a lot of times, if the home is vacant, you're usually winterizing, well, I would say 100% of the time, you're winterizing a home that is vacant. So with that being said, once it's winterized, it might not get eyes laid back on it
till spring.
Or, just whenever.
So, or tenant moves in.
Yeah, so if that pipe happened to bust, and it ran for only 3 days, man, you're looking, there was one time it ran for 72 hours. And by the time we got back to it, not us in particular, but it was $65,000 worth of damage.
Gosh, and what is the cost of winterization?
$100 on our end. And some people charge upwards of $150. But I'll tell you right now, I own one property, rental property that I own. It's about 100 miles away. But I go check on that at least 3 times a year. I have a cousin and family members that live up there that see the house on a daily basis. But me personally, I own that home. I go look at that home.
And I think that's so important for people because we've got a lot of out-of-state investors, a lot of people that come use hard money. They want to do the burst strategy, and they never actually lay eyes on their property. And so then they never actually understand what's going on with their property, and they miss some things. So it's extremely important. Even these people that live, say, in California or in New York, you make that trip here a few times a year, especially if you've got multiple properties.
Right. And I tell people that if you buy off a picture, good luck. I just purchased a home 3 years ago. And if you were to look at the picture that was on Zillow, it looked nothing like the home that I bought. So what I'm getting to is we laid eyes on it, and we laid eyes on several more before we bought. So yes, you have to come. So here's what happens when you do that. And I've seen it time and time again. I don't mind people wanting to give us their money, but when you go off of a picture and you don't do your due diligence and you run in it's a lot of money, or you hire a contractor that's not licensed. I've seen this many times, Alyssa, that's not licensed, that I have to come in behind them. Mm-hmm. There was one instance that an investor that was overseas gave a local contractor close to $100,000. The property was valued first at $95,000. And he put in close to $100,000 rehab. And so he bought the home for $45,000, put in $100,000 rehab, which he's already way over what it's worth. Mm-hmm. And then he had to pay City Lights another $37,000 to finish it up. Because everything that the other contract, he was just sending him pictures.
And pictures can lie.
Yes, very easily.
So, what advice would you give to an investor where to find a reputable company or a reputable contractor or like maintenance company?
On the Tennessee government website, mm-hmm. if a company is licensed and bonded, they will show up on that website. All their licenses will show up on that website. If they're not on that website, I would be very skeptical.
Right. And also, too, I think some people don't realize that those licenses and all of that cost money. So that's going to be reflected in what they're paying for some of these services versus, this person might be able to do it for $2,000 cheaper. Correct. Or say even on some other things, a nominal cost cheaper, but at what expense to that investor? Yeah,
we get that often, too, is, I hired this guy, or we put in an estimate for, let's just call it $5,000 to make it easy math. And someone comes in and says, we can do that for $2,500. Mm-hmm. So when that $2,500 job is done, guess what? The phone rings again. Can you please come take a look at this?
Yeah. We're not playing Name That Tune here. I can do it in 6 notes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's almost like anything you do, you're going to get what you pay for. You understand?
You're going to pay for it later.
You're going to pay for it later. So just to speak in HVAC terms, a train unit is great to have. If you're going to pay high dollar for that, it's going to come and it's going to perform and it's going to do great. So then you'll go to a Goodman that investors probably are going to go with. And Goodman is so this would be like Polo. Goodman would be like Levi or something. You see, they're both quality products, just one's depending on that. But then they got a product over here that's considerably cheaper.
It came from Temu.
Thank you. That's a good one. Yeah. And you go buy that, and then you wonder why in 3 years you're replacing this, but in 15 years, this one over here is still running.
And that's a huge investment that people make, those HVAC units into their properties, which goes into that of maintaining your HVAC units. What are some of the things that owners or investors need to think about when maintaining? They've spent $15,000 putting a new system in. What things do they need to do to protect those investments?
The 2 most important things you can do to an HVAC system. The 2 most important things. Number 1 is to keep the filter changed. Mm-hmm. And the second thing is during the summer months or when you crank up that air conditioner, every time you cut your grass, take your water hose and rinse off that air conditioner. It's called a condenser. But for people that don't know, that big unit that's outside with the fan running on top, that's your condenser. After you cut your yard, every time, rinse it off. That will probably save at least 5 to 6 years off of your system, right off the top. Because when it's clogged, it's running hard.
And let's be real, a lot of times these tenants, they don't own it. So they don't necessarily know the expenses. It's because they haven't had to purchase it. But it's kind of like when you go into a vacation unit, like an Airbnb, say down in Florida, it's in the summertime, like please do not set the thermostat below 68 degrees. Well, these tenants a lot of times are setting them, it's 100 degrees outside, they're setting them at 60 degrees. It can't work that high, it can't just physically can't push that. But if they're constantly pushing this to the limits, that maintenance, that routine maintenance is definitely going to help with that wear and tear.
Yeah, it's like a fleet vehicle that sees hundreds of miles a day. Mm-hmm. It can run forever probably, or for a long, long time, keep the oil changed. Mm-hmm. Make sure all the fluids are in it. Make sure all the tires have the correct air pressure. Rotate them.
Right.
It's the same way. with doing your home the same way.
It's routine maintenance.
That's all it is. And once you get it in your head, and that's why we're here preaching of the filter changes twice a year and the PMs twice a year. We focus a little on winterizations because that's important. But if your home is occupied with somebody, don't trust them that they are going to value your home as much as you value that home. Do you see what I mean? So don't trust them that they care if there's a hole where the doorknob went through the wall. The faucet's constantly dripping or the knob's broken off. See, them are things they might not even care about, but you as an owner care about.
Right, because it's, say, for example, you've had a tile come off in the surround in a bathroom. Well, they don't think it's that big of a deal, but then for a full year, then you've got water going into the back of a wall, and then at that point, you've got what could have been a couple $100 fix turns into thousands.
Exactly, because now you've damaged the wall, and now you probably now got 15 to 20 tiles missing.
Right, and then your subfloor is damaged too.
And the floors, and whatever's behind it, the next room that's behind it.
Then you've got mold.
There's just so many issues that I guess I can't emphasize this enough. Your property, if it's of value to you, of any value to you, I suggest you look at the filters. Let somebody look at your property. Check the smoke detectors. It can stop the house from burning down. It can stop it from.
And also, too, like we get into weather like this, it's as simple as your outdoor faucets, going and putting one of those covers on it. That is a cheap fix.
All of this will save you thousands of dollars. Thousands. And trust me, in this business, I've seen pipes bust. I've seen people destroy homes that owners swore that they had a great tenant in there. They didn't need it looked at.
But then they poured Quikrete down the toilet.
Yeah. It's just all kind of things that you see that you wouldn't believe, you wouldn't think is even really humanly possible. And you see it in people's homes.
You do. And, we talk about freezing pipes here this time of year with our Arctic blast that's coming our way. I think a lot of people don't realize a lot of these pipes are old in Memphis. This is an old city. So you've got to be thinking about those things. These pipes, a lot of them have been in there 100 plus years.
Well, Memphis also wasn't built as a cold weather town like we've been getting. Memphis was built. So when I say a cold weather town, I meant Chicago, the towns up north, New York, them kind of places that are used to sub-zero temperatures all the time. They got a lot of insulation. Memphis older homes weren't built with all this insulation.
No, they weren't.
Yeah,
you go into Midtown and you go behind those plaster walls and you've got newspaper insulation.
That's it.
And then asbestos insulation on top of the knob and tube in the attic.
Once again, with winterizations, it's very important. And even if someone lives, here's some advice to people that just if you live in a home, if you in your home, when it's cold outside, drip the faucets.
And open the doors
to the cabinets. Do everything to prevent any of your money leaving your pocket to give to someone to fix something that you could have avoided in the first place.
And that's the key thing. Like I know my husband, he goes around this time he's going to go around to all these properties, making sure our tenants have the cabinet doors to exterior walls open. He's going to make sure they've got the covers on it. And somebody that lives in California, they can't do that. That's why it's so important to have a local company that can go do that for you.
Yeah. And that's what we're here for. We're geared to help you. I was at church and my pastor said this, and it kind of goes to what we do too. Mm-hmm. We are in the people business.
Right.
So we want to help you. I really want to help you be better because when you're better, I'm better. So if that means saving your property so you can take your money, invest in another property that I might can pick up some maintenance or some work from here, I'm with you.
And you're also too, I've seen this to where you are a property owner that does that routine maintenance. You take care of your property. Chances are your tenants are going to, they're going to take that consideration too. You're an owner that, okay, their air goes out and it's 95 degrees and you have somebody over there the next day versus putting it off or doing this. You're going to get better tenants.
Yes. And especially a town like Memphis, I call it a small, big city. Kind of word of mouth still travels far in this city.
And fast.
You can build a quick reputation and have a good one that can be destroyed quickly. So we built City Lights from the time I was here. I wasn't always sitting in this position. I was once a technician and worked my way up, and I saw it build itself slowly on standing by our word, offering honest advice, offering honest pricing, giving you a good job, standing behind our work.
And it's also, too, of not everything is always replaced. No, we can repair.
Right.
Because on some of these items, a replacement, you've wiped out your entire cash flow for the year, at minimum, sometimes.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because even my rental property that I have, I'm just going to put it out there. The mortgage, it's an older home. The mortgage is around $550 a month. I charge the tenant $600 a month. I'm totally breaking the rules, but
you're totally breaking the rules.
Well, anyway, now at $50 a month times 12, that's $600 a year I've made profit. The water heater goes out and I go put it in myself, I've still lost about $200. That's if I go put it in myself. So the point I'm making to people is investors are not these guys that got billions of dollars, most of them.
Most of them are not the hedge funds.
Thank you. Most of them.
Or private equity.
Yeah. Look. So no, they don't. When you hit them with a $7,000 HVAC system, most of them aren't just reaching in their bank account and clapping for joy. Yeah, I got it. Let's get it. No, most of them are like, holy crap. How am I, and the ones that have multiple properties sometimes have to dig into, over here from this one to it's like Peter to pay Paul.
Right. And if they were having trouble, like paying $100 winterization, well, if you can't really afford that in your budget, you certainly can't really afford an insurance claim.
Yeah.
For a burst pipe.
Yeah. Or a $7,000 HVAC system, or a home that has no tenant in it at all because you're not able to fix it.
Right. Because you're not getting any income at that point. But a lot of people still have mortgages on these properties and tax bills too.
And especially the way Memphis is. Memphis is a rental house city. You've seen it, and I've seen it flip from back when I first moved here in the mid '90s. Basically, all you could rent was an apartment.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, houses started coming up for rent, and now they're everywhere.
They're everywhere.
So if you want to be one of them owners that doesn't want to fix things,
you'll run out of tenants eventually.
Thank you. Because not only that, is because the competition in each neighborhood is so tense right now.
Right. If you want to get top of the market rents, you better be delivering top of the market amenities for these
exactly.
for these tenants.
And that's where City Lights and CrestCore and CoreLend, as we work together, especially us, we offer you a solution. Well, somewhat of a solution, maybe a warranty, for lack of a better word, to keep your property up and going. You see, to keep you making money, keep flat cash flow coming in. Because guess what? When you make money and you use us, we're making money, and we're all excited.
And this is kind of throwing a curveball here at you. You've got some property owners, and I've seen this. It's not as much here in the Memphis area, but they're like, I'll just get a home warranty on my investment property, and I'll call the warranty company whenever something goes wrong. Have you seen any cases of that, and when that has gone well or when it has not gone well?
I have seen. I don't like to speak on investors, but I can speak of a personal experience with a friend of mine on a home warranty. So his air conditioner wasn't working, and me being who I am, he asked me, could I come take a look at it? I told him, yeah, I can come take a look at it. Yeah, your condenser's bad and your coil's not going to match the new condenser, so you could probably end up replacing both. So they come out, he calls them, they come out, charge him $75, tell him almost the exact same thing I tell him, but tell him they only cover X thing. So, and he's had this home warranty for over 10 years, I'll tell you. At, I don't know how much, maybe $100 a month, whatever it is. So he pays them $75, and he thinks all this is covered. All of a sudden, he gets an estimate in the mail for around $5,500 was his share to pay after this home warranty. And not only that, after he did that, they wanted to cancel him. And if they didn't cancel him, they were going to up his policy, his rates. Mm-hmm. So what I would say to you, if you think you're going to use your insurance, most I've seen, this is even on the investor side. I don't know on the homeowner side, but on the investor, most time I see is $10,000 deductible.
Yeah, for insurance, yes, that is. And then you're
if you don't have $7,000 to buy an air conditioning system,
you better be maintaining it.
How are you going to come up with $10,000 deductible?
Right. Well, and I could say going back into the home warranties where you own it personally, it could be a different experience, but sometimes those tend to take longer too versus a service like this where you as a homeowner, I can wait a few days. I'll sit uncomfortable with this because it's this much money. A tenant does not care that it's costing you this much money. They are inconvenienced now. And so speed matters to them.
Because it's not their property.
Right.
You see, as a homeowner, it's your property, so you know that you have to be patient. There's nothing, what else do you have to do?
Right. But you as a tenant, you don't have to be.
You don't have to be because you're renting and you are expecting a service.
You're expecting a service. And that's as they should be expecting a service too.
And as you should deliver that service. You should deliver on your word. And that's what City Lights is here for, to help you. Like I said, we're people. We're in the people business. We want to help you as you help us.
And that's the key. That's more money in your pocket at the end. It's an expense out of your pocket, yes. And we're all looking at the numbers of, does this work? Can I fit this into my budget where the cash flow is? But you've also got to look at the other thing of, well, it's not going to fit in my budget to go and replace something of that magnitude.
Right.
Those big ticket items like the water heaters, like your HVAC, your condensers, your furnaces.
Your sewers, your sewer lines. It wouldn't be bad, getting back to inspections. It wouldn't be bad once a year or once every couple of years to have your sewer camera, just to take a look at it. Don't wait till it backs up and runs up into the back. I don't do that. I'm guilty of that too, but these aren't bad ideas. Anything preventative you can do your home for low cost.
And the sewer, you bring that up, that is something before an investor purchases a property. They need, if that sewer line hasn't been replaced recently, or you don't know, it's get that sewer line inspection.
That's $300-$400.
To save you thousands.
Mm-hmm. In the long run. Exactly.
And also you could look into, say you go into East Memphis here, and for people that are not in the Memphis area, we've got a lot of trees, a lot of old trees. And so if you see a big indentation in the front yard, you better get that checked, because chances are the sewer line is run through there. The tree might not be there anymore, but probably that root intrusion has already happened.
Yeah. Because it's funny that even at the home I live in now, they planted a tree right next to my back patio. And the back patio looks like a puzzle now because of the cracks. So, we do replace a lot of sewers from roots, from tree roots. So, your sewer inspection, them are your roofs, your sewers, your water heaters, and your HVAC system. Mm-hmm. Them are the ones that will cost you the most money if you don't.
For deferred maintenance on those?
Yes. If you don't go ahead and catch them on the front end.
Now, what do you say percentage-wise of you being City Lights on maintenance of owners that supply appliances like a fridge or a stove versus the ones what would you say that do supply them versus don't? And does City Lights service those? Okay.
I do know this. Any owner that owns an apartment complex will supply, I guess will supply a stove and a refrigerator usually. Homeowners, to me, I've seen it maybe 60-40, 50-50, something like that. Some homeowners do supply them, some don't, but
it's usually going to depend on what that rent level is too.
Right. It's where you stand there. And the other question, yes, we do. We work on any appliance. We work on refrigerators, stove, dishwashers. I wouldn't say microwaves. We can replace your Ventahood microwave, but we do all the plumbing. We're licensed. We're licensed and we have our contractor's license, we have our plumbing license, we have our electrical license, and we have our mechanical license, and they're all in the state. And we also can do work in Mississippi, like Horn Lake, Olive Branch, South Haven area. Mm-hmm. And we offer a warranty on all our work. We stand by all of our work.
Well, yeah, and the reason I ask about appliances is because some are like, no, I don't supply any. Others like, I'm always going to do it. But where you talk about, say, like on your property where you're making $50 a month, $600 a year on that, even a stove, which they are really hard on a stove. And I've seen this before because we had a tenant that she kept it going the whole time and it was a brand new one. She burned it out in a year. Well, if you're only making $50 in profit, you could be every year replacing just that item.
Right, exactly. Because you haven't laid eyes on it. Because you don't know that she's over there abusing that stove.
Right. And so that's where you assume that, like, if they're going to abuse things like that, they're going to provide them on their own.
There you go. That's how a lot of owners look at it, as if, especially in a home, they've probably been through the cycle you've talked about once or twice already, and they've just determined that most new investors are all gung-ho. I can always kind of tell when I go into someone's home, and when I know the scale of the rent, that's different. But when I go into a new invest, I can tell because they've put in these really nice appliances, these really nice countertops in kind of a area. There's no bad areas to me, just areas. And then I think to myself, I wonder how long those are going to last with the tenant.
And they're not going to last past that tenant.
No, they're not. It's just, I think we said there, the bottom line is this here. A tenant, no matter how much they love you and they love your property,
they're still not ownership.
They're not. They don't own the property, so they're not going to look at it the way you do.
That's why it's important to have companies like that. They are your eyes and ears for the property.
Yeah, they have to, and you have to trust. You have to find somebody that you trust. Look at their Google reviews. Look them up on the Tennessee government website. Make sure they're legit. See how long they've been in business. We have been doing this so long. Last year alone, we did about 5,200 work orders. Yeah, 5,200 of them. And that could be anything from preventative maintenance to lawn care to your sewer busting to put a new roof on your house, cutting a tree out of your yard. We got a large gamut of everything that we do.
Which that's what you bring up, a tree in your yard. You talked about roofs being a big expense. Well, you've got this tree, you've got multiple branches that are scraping that roof. That right there is damaging. It is shortening the lifespan of your roof. That is routine maintenance as well, keeping those tree limbs trimmed back.
Yeah. How many days have you seen, you live here like I do, how many times have you seen after a big storm, you turn on the TV and there's a tree laying on somebody's house? I meant a tree.
Oh, well, yes, that's happened. Even at our own house. Luckily, it wasn't on our house, but it was one of these ice storms, and we heard this big thing, and we had a 4-pronged tree. Well, one of the big trunks, it just toppled over from the ice.
And what ends up happening most of the time, most time what ends up happening is somewhere on that tree, something's dead. Mm-hmm. It's not been trimmed away, causing that tree to become weaker and weaker. Then it finally falls. And like you said, it provided firewood, the good part of the tree.
Right.
But yeah, you have to, you just have to do, I just keep stressing, you have to do these preventative maintenances. It is the best $150 you can spend. I promise it. Look at it like an oil change in your car that you do. Now you only have to do them twice a year because they give you this great oil. But
right.
So they say.
But it still has to be done.
Yeah, it has to be done. Just take
if you don't do it, the engine's eventually going to blow up.
Bite the bullet, the little $150. It's tough. Trust me. I got bills that I don't want to pay every month. Or I get expenses that pop up that I'm like, this is not cool to me.
No.
But I also look at it like, if I invest now, this $150, I won't invest $600 in 6 months or whatever it is. You see what I'm saying? So just think about it hard.
And I look at it as like, they're not doing those things. That's not like the big sexy things like doing a kitchen or having this all pretty. Those are the things I'd like to say they aren't fun things to spend money on.
Right.
But they're very necessary.
And for us, I'll be blatantly honest with you. They don't make a killing for us.
No,
but what they do, they offer a service to you.
Right.
And once again, we're in the people business.
Exactly.
We want to offer this service so maybe that you see, these guys they'll go take a look at my property and send me 15, 20 pictures and tell me of little things that are wrong. Mm-hmm. I might use them when something major goes wrong. Well, I trust these guys.
And they're going to tell somebody else, word of mouth.
They haven't went to my property for $100 and told me that I need all of this work. No, we tell you what you need in that preventative maintenance, but we only make suggestions.
It's still up to you to do it.
Yeah. And if it really needs to be done, we're going to point this out. Hey, in our professional opinion, you need to handle this immediately. And then we'll hit you with a few other little small things that are happening at your home.
Right. So they can prioritize what needs to be done.
Yeah. And we're basically giving you a story 4 times a year, a little short story about your home.
About your property.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Well, any questions, anything else you would like to share?
Only thing I'd like to share is CoreLend is I work with you guys. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't say directly. We see each other daily.
Right.
A lot. I will say that I know this for a fact, not only because I work here or none of that. The people at CoreLend that I know, that I interact with, are genuine, are knowledgeable in their fields. I'm not a investor by any means. I inherited the home I have, but I don't know the mortgage rates and all that. I'm not really familiar with all that, but I have a way better insight now that I do listen and hang around more and pay attention. And just want to say that I feel nothing but positive vibes when I'm around your whole company.
Well, I appreciate that. Kind of like that as a whole, as a family of companies. We're like that.
Amen.
Yep. So thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you again next time.